All right, go ahead.
So for me, it's like the way my mind works is it, even if it's something very basic, I like to hear somebody talk about it, then give an example. Even if if it's an example about how I'm supposed to think, it's like give me the example so then I connect via that almost like non-visual thing in my head, the picture in my head, I connect it. So you talk about things that happened in your childhood. Well, I can't think of anything, but then it's like, well, give me some examples of you, and then I start to connect
Yeah.
to it. I'm very methodical in that way. My husband, it drives him crazy because he tells me something and I say, well, what do you mean? What's an example? And he's like, I just told you. And I was like, but I need the little example to then move off of.
Yeah. So one of the big things is like everyone learns differently, obviously, like visual learners, audible learners, even like I mean, they have huge studies that just writing down certain things will like pretty much make your brain absorb it better, right? It's kind of why I read paper books. I don't really like to read on a Kindle or some kind of screen because I feel like I just absorb it better here. But that also could be my mild dyslexia, who knows? But whatever it is, you gotta really, I think writing has a lot to do with it because I think when you put pen to paper, it like really triggers your mind to work differently. Like all the stuff I've read about psychology and like working through things, it all has like a lot to do with writing it. Like it's something about it that changes your brain pathways. And so like one of the things that kind of changes in your brain, it's called myelin. And pretty much what myelin is, it just connects, they're like connections in your brain. And so like a lot of our habits happen through myelin and it gets thicker or thinner based on what you do every day. So even if you're like thinking something every day, it'll actually create this thicker strand of myelin that makes you continually think that way over and over again. So it's kind of like, I bet you everyone in here has like done a habit. So you like wake up, first thing you do, I'll just tell you what I do. I wake up, I go brush my teeth right away. And so, sometimes you'll wake up and you'll just be like brushing your teeth and you're like, how'd I get here, right? And that's myelin, that's so strong, so thick and connected, it's just going to happen, right? You don't have to worry about it. And that's what you want to do with your healthy habits. But with your bad habits, it's just as strong, right? That's why it's okay to do something for a little bit, but then when you get in a stressful situation or something like that, you go back to what's comfortable. What's comfortable is because of all those times you've said it or done it, that myelin strand is so thick. So to break it and make it thinner and detach it, you got to do the opposite, right? Over and over and over again until you get it. So writing with your hand and doing it over and over again, like writing that story or changing that story, that could be as simple as, a negative thing happened to me. I was called that I was big when I was in first grade, and now I weigh 400 pounds. All right. So then the next time you write it, maybe you would switch the statement and say, I was called big in first grade and I was 400 pounds, but it allowed me to lose 200 pounds and create a new story of power, inspiration, and happiness that I can give to other people and change the world. You see how it all just changed right there? Everyone, you felt great about it. You changed that the thickness of that myelin strand. And what happens, you keep writing that over and over again, and it's going to deteriorate it until you change the belief. And now that thing that happened to you isn't really that big of a deal because this other thing's so much bigger. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?